All right, everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Honda K24 Swap. My name is Steven Vincent, and I appreciate you watching. So, some big stuff is happening. Hopefully, I'll get to it all in this video, but it's go time. Let me show you what I just picked up. All right, these are the Fiero mounts. Now, this mount is subject to change. I figured out a way that we can just change this lower mount here, and then it'll work with the K20 style transmissions and the TSX 6-speed. So this mount, subject to change, will probably even replace this one. I'd like to do all fabricated, but at the end of the day, these are really dirt cheap. You can get them anywhere, and they're typical K-swap mounts. I do use 3 of these. We'll see what's more cost effective. I don't like being stuck with this one. I don't know the durometer of the poly here, and I don't know the quality of the aluminum, but I do know the quality of the mounts that I had made, and they look sick. This is what we'll be using. That's a 2.5 by 1/2 inch bushing. The sleeve, that was a whole different thing that we had to figure out, but we got that. These are the frame rail mounts. I am looking at making a paper template. It's very similar to what, if you are into side-by-sides, you bought any kind of aftermarket accessories made by Can-Am for their side-by-side, they typically come with paper templates. You tape up, they lay, they're outlined, they show exactly where it needs to lay, and then it has the holes that you need to drill. It's perfect, so it fits right every time, and I think because this is such a critical measurement, that template is the better way to go, and I am talking to my local print shop. We'll see if we can make that happen. It might cost a few extra bucks, but if you mess this up, you mess everything up. So we'll see how that pans out. Look at them welds. And this is just pre-production pattern parts. So the finished product, I believe, is all gonna be TIG welded. It's gonna be sick. But I need to get these on the engine, get it test fitted in the car just to verify that there's no other changes to me that need to be made on these. And the wiring harness will be here any day. So let's get to work. All right, we've got a lot done. Got the engine back in the car. You really didn't need to see me do that again because, well, how many times have you seen me take an engine in and out of a car here? So let's see where we're at. That mount is in. My light just died. There it goes. Can't really see that mount. It's tucked way down in there. And then that mount is on as well. And of course, the upper head mount there. So the engine's back in the car, bolted in. We do have to make a couple of minor modifications on the mounts, but it's not the end of the world. It's real simple because all this is CAD files, so easy fix there, I hope. So what I'm about to do is something I've been wanting to do for a while. There we go. That's one axle. We knew this one fit, had that one installed, no problem. But we had to get this one shortened because the drive shaft shop, even though I ordered it the correct length, they actually sent me the one which would be the, I believe this is the passenger side, but for the 5-speed like I have in Brian's car. So they just kind of messed up the order. I sent this back, they fixed it, no problem. So I'm going to try to get this one fitted for the first time. So here we go. Hi everybody, welcome back. So I've gotten a lot of work done on the K24 swap. It really doesn't seem like it. It's all the little odds and ends to kind of get it finished up. And I don't know, man. It's been a few days. I walk away, I come back and I'm like, did I really get anything done on this car? So let me show you what I've done. We'll all find out together if it looks like anything actually has been done. So let me show you. All right, so I spent some time and got all the water to air transfer lines. That's the pump right there. That's one of the lines that gets run inside the door seal, which is pretty cool. Comes around and runs down in through there. That's how it's routed. Then it comes around and into there. Those fittings were $30 a piece. Yeah. It was crazy. Started getting the brake lines all fitted. Still need to get the front suspension buttoned up and get this thing back on the front wheels. That would be kind of nice. So let's see if I can't remember if I got anything done. Oh, I buttoned up the harness for the charge cooler pump. That's it right there. This wire right here is going to be one on the C500. That's going to be our switch power. So that actually has to get done. Thank you to James for sending me a bunch of the pins for the C500 and C203, but he also sent me a brand new C203 and C500. C500 goes right there. Come in here. Tucked under there, that's the new C203 that let me dig it out. That's James's new C203. That's our only connections that we had to do there. Now there are some things I need to look into for the AC. I believe it's all controlled through the ECU on the Honda. I just need to find the signal that comes from the Fiero that's like AC request or whatever it is. So that's one of the things I do need to figure out. But I got all this set up, got it seam sealed. I got the rubber isolating standoffs. You can see those. So the ECU's mounted all nice like it should be. Got all that done. The relay's mounted. I literally started going through and routing stuff. I still need to get all the connections made for my innovative wideband power distribute, or the main power for the battery. There it is. That's its pass through. So it's coming along. Like I said, it doesn't look like I got a lot done, but I actually did. But I don't want to button all this up until I start finding out what's going on with the AC and how I'm going to get that tied in. So that is one of the things. So this is one of the bulkheads, and this will go right there. That's how that hooks in. And then obviously it's got a lock nut on the other side to hold it in place. But yeah, there's a bunch of pins that James sent me in this beautiful frozen bag. Thank you, James. Honestly, a lot of this build, a lot of the electrical stuff, I mean, James Brown has gone above and beyond to help me, and I'm not even a paying customer. So the guy has helped out tremendously, just like my car, and of course my best friend Gar. So without those people, this wouldn't have happened. Not getting it integrated properly anyway. So let me show you what else we've done. These are the spring purchase for the front tubular suspension. I don't remember how they go on. Great. I do know they go up in that little pocket in there somewhere. I think they had silicone or something on them to help stick them in place. Need to figure out what's going on there. So let's see. This side's buttoned up. That looks so good, don't it? Yeah, I ran out of those vibrant fittings, so I just used some of those from Roosters. You won't be able to see them once the liner's in, so it doesn't really matter, but you can see that hose was expensive. So everything's sleeved, protected. I will have to notch the side scoops to make room for the line, and that goes right over under, that's funny, goes over to the charge cooler itself, which you can see right in there. Engine bay, you can see the top, that's the in for the water to air intercooler. I've got the clutch line hooked up, just got an adapter to the original hard line. That was pretty easy to do. Fuel lines are run, throttle cable's in place, brake booster line. Now it turns out I'm actually gonna take this intake back off and tap it on the bottom for new ports to run the fuel pressure regulator, the external wastegate, boost control, all that stuff, to add some more fittings. It doesn't have many apparently. So I get to take it off, which is good, because then I can do something about them ugly crusty bolts holding that intake on. So they'll get evapor rusted and cold blued. I finally got spark plugs in, cold packs on permanently. So that's done. The prototype mount down there and over here. And of course the other one way back down in there. I don't know if you could see it. I can't really see that screen. Right there we've got the oil catch can hidden way down there. Can you see it down under there? So that, I love the way that's routed. So it's a lot of little odds and ends. Honestly, I'm having a problem with getting my wiring harness. It's been 4 months and $1,000. And that's just for a prototype harness. I still have to cut it to length, put in the bulkhead fittings. I mean, there's a lot more to it. Man, I'm popular today. So there's a lot more to it. The guys finally said they would have it done and shipped out Monday, which they've already shipped out one, though the tracking number was no good. So that was 3 weeks worth of a fiasco there. So I'll believe it when I see it at this point. It's just getting stuff done right now is proving to be a challenge. But let's stay positive. Let's hope it gets here soon, and then I can get this wiring harness figured out. I know a lot of you guys are chomping at the bit for the K Fiero mounts, but just remember, I don't have a huge setup here. I really need a spare, just this engine bay. Just this engine bay. I have a wrecked Fiero or scrap Fiero, it doesn't matter. On the Fieros, all the cradles bolt in to the exact same mounting locations. It doesn't matter if you want to put an 84 cradle and an 88 or vice versa. The cradles physically bolt in the exact same, with the exception of the suspension stuff, but that's irrelevant right now. But I really need an engine bay that I can go through and set up different combination. I know a lot of you guys are saying that the K24 and 6-speed out of the TSX isn't the most popular for the swaps, because it is kind of an oddball when it comes to mounts. But that's what I have. I put it in my 88. The cradle is modified, so the mounts I'm making fit this setup. Yes, I have some stuff on my son's K20 with the EP3 5-speed on an 88 cradle, but again, those are different mounts, and it's a K20. So the K20 set, or the K24 is actually an inch taller than the K20. So there's a lot of different combinations, and honestly, I'm just not willing to take my car apart and try different combinations. It's too nice. Everything's powder coated, more chance for stuff to get scratched and tore up, and I just don't want to do it on this kind of build. Now, my son's car does come out. The drivetrain does have to come out of the blur. I will take measurements and see what I can do about getting those mounts. And I think the transmission mount, this one, will be fairly easy to change whatever plate that bolts to the transmission, but the mount and the mounting bracket, the U bracket, will stay the same. That one's going to be easy. The head mount is different on the K20, but again, I think we can keep the same U bracket that goes to the frame, and it's just the difference of that shackle bushing, really. The side mounts, which would be the firewall and the trunk, they will be a little bit different. I don't think the front one will be any different regardless if it's K20, K24. But again, it would require you guys to make your own kind of mount to go from that my mount to the cradle if you're not going to do the cradle mod. Now remember, 88s have the weakest factory cradle. They crack on stock cars, and it splits right at the transmission mount where it bolts to the cradle. It's very thin metal. My method strengthens the cradle considerably. We're talking 1/8 inch thick 2x2 box steel tubing, which is a whole lot stronger than just stamped metal that they used on the cradle. It's just no comparison there in strength. So you know, there are some combinations I'd like to try. I do have a spare 87 cradle. You know, when my son's engine comes out, that would be a K20 and a EP3 5-speed. I could do some mock-ups, but really to get it to fit, I would literally have to take the engine back out of my 88 and then test fit his. And I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. It's just not practical, and I don't want to risk scratching and tearing up. Yeah, I've got $600+ in powder coating alone so far, so I just don't want to risk tearing it up. But I'm trying to do as much as I can to help you guys out. I do believe this is going to be the new big swap. It's just a logistics thing. So if you know anybody that's got a wrecked Fiero, you know, a junk Fiero, somebody wants to help the cause, if I could get my hands on that and get it here, literally all I did is need the engine bay, and I could start doing a whole lot more. I could go pick up some more Honda engines, different combinations, and start trying to kind of piece all the puzzle, you know, get all the puzzle pieces together, and do have a comprehensive setup. As of right now, I've got what I've got. You know, I can help you with the shifter cables, the throttle cable, the clutch stuff. You know, if you got an 88 and a K24 and a 6-speed out of a TSX, I got you covered there. So it's going to take a little while to kind of get all the different combinations. And there's several guys on the Fiero forum that are doing mounts, and everybody's sharing, which I love that everybody's sharing information, unlike how this was in the beginning, but, you know, no sense in going there. So it's really good. I love how we're doing this. And then, you know, we might even get to the point where we could like share DXF files, 3D print something out, test fit it, see if it works, because it's a lot easier to 3D print something and just test it to see if it fits versus going through the whole fabrication process. So again, we'll see. So right now, I totally knew what I was going to come down here to do, and I've completely forgotten what I'm going to do as I wait for the kerosene heater to warm this garage up, because it's pretty freaking cold. But oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get the exhaust, the downpipe, and all that stuff on. So let me get to work, and I'll show you what I did in just a few minutes. All right, everybody. Well, today is the day that we've been waiting on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have already opened this because I was waiting over 4 months to get it, so I had to look at it. But let me show you what we you hear the kids screaming in the background?
I do. That's the fun part.
Anyway, so I've been waiting over 4 months to get this wiring harness. So we do have the prototype Fiero wiring harness. So let me show you what's in the box. Of course, nothing else is in there. It's empty. So this is legit. First time it's been out of the bag. You're seeing it just as I'm seeing it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the connectors. This is the extra wires that I had added to the harness so that I can run like the MAC valve, or if I wanted to run a fuel pressure sensor or anything like that, it gave me some extra wires just in case. This area here is where we're going to determine the length of where it's going to meet the firewall to add in. If you remember, I have the bulkhead wiring pass-throughs, so we gave us an extra bit of length here to, because I do have to cut it and do all that, which not me personally, to be Garth, because this is outside of my comfort zone and I actually want it to work. So let's see. Now this is what's called a tuck style harness. It has the engine coolant temperature, and there was one other one relocated down on the K-Tune swivel water neck, which puts it way down low by like the, I think these are it here, yeah, because that right there is for, I think that's the knock sensor, I think. But all this should be down here on this. We're gonna find out because I haven't fitted this to the car, so let's go get this in the car. All right, we have got a lot of work done on the K-swap. It's all the little odds and ends, trying to get that buttoned up. The garage is a disaster. Well, I sure say that a lot nowadays, don't I? But yeah, it's just what it happens when you're trying to do something that hasn't been done before and figuring out all the odds and ends and buttoning up all the, it's the little stuff that catches up to you. It takes a lot of time. It's the heater hose routing, you know, getting the wiring just right. You know, we do engine integration is what I like to call it, not swaps, because if it was on it, I want it to work. So that's what Chase and I were working on yesterday. Now, I buttoned up a lot of odds and ends on here. I had to disconnect the turbo again because I had to put the engine coolant temperature sensor back in its original location. I got the wideband installed into the downpipe. You can see it right there. We got everything hooked up. I still have to do the connections on the C500, which just a few. It's basically for the water to air intercooler, the backup lights, things of that nature. But if we can get it all connected, put power to it, do a systems check, you know, go into the K-Tune software, make sure it reads all the sensors that it's supposed to read. You know, everything's where it's supposed to be, and I can turn the key and bump it over, hear the oil, the fuel pump kick on, that I know everything with the harness is good, and it reads everything it's supposed to read. Then I can take the harness, drive the Gar's house. I've already got the harness marked where I think it'd be perfect length, and then we'll add the bulkhead fittings. And then hopefully Garth will come here with me. We'll get it all installed the car and get it started and running for the first time. Go through, set up the map, because it's a 4-bar map sensor, so I know we have to change that. We have to change the settings for the IDC 1050X fuel injectors. You know, there's little odds and ends that we have to do in the tune, and I'm learning as I go because I'd like to try to become more self-sufficient the more I learn about these engines. But I really would like Garth here because he is the electronics guru. But man, it's coming so far. And of course, I lean on Michael Carr of Carrs Garage a lot. The dude is an expert on anything and all things Honda, and he has helped me out tremendously. I mean, tremendously on this build. And hopefully I can go see him and get a core K20 and like a core, even if it's just a Case 5-speed or the K20 6-speed, and then I could start mocking up mounts for those. There's a local guy apparently who has over 30 Fieros. And I'm going to go over there, beg, borrow, and plead and see if I can get just a junk Fiero, because they say he won't sell anything, so I'll rent it from him if I have to get a car over here just for mock-up. Because like I said in the previous video, my car's too nice to just keep taking apart and putting new and different combinations in it, because I'll be selfish. I want to drive my car. It's been, 4 years at this point, so that's what we're going to do. If I could find a parts car Fiero, I don't care if it's just this engine bay with the cradle, forward and rear mounts, so I only need this section here. I could go crazy with, mocking up all kinds of J-series. I could do whatever I wanted to at that point. I just don't want to do it on this car anymore. So yeah, I was hoping to get it started in this video, but with the holidays and all that, it's just too crazy, and the harness taking forever to get here. But I think I do have a new supplier that can make the K-Fiero harness, and they will come pre with the bulkhead fittings pre-installed, which will make life so much easier, and it'll be as close to plug and play as you can expect for a Honda engine in a Pontiac. So you know, I'm just doing insulation and, you know, hose protection and all those little odds and ends, and it's taken me forever, and my kids are here and this is their time, not my time. So I sneak down here every now and then to hide from them because I need some peace and quiet. You know, they're kids and they're rambunctious. So that's where we're at. So I've got some more work to do, so I need to get on that and stop yapping on this this video. So I appreciate you watching. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. I think that's what everybody says on YouTube. But look forward to it, because in the next video, it may be me at Carrs and then to end up here with a start. Who knows? Might make it a cliffhanger and do a click, click, click on this one. But we'll see how. Well, we'll see in a few seconds, won't we? All right. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year, everyone.